Welcome to another episode of the Office Altering Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a first-time listener, hopefully you'll become a long-time listener. As always, I'm your show host, Molly McGrath, founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions and creator of this revolutionary podcast. You can check us out at hiringandempowering.com. Welcome to another episode of Hiring and Empowering Solutions. All right, today we are hitting it, and I'm going to hit you right where it hurts in the pocketbook. We're talking about why looking to your P&L is killing your growth. You've heard this statement once, you've heard it a million times. Grow or die. And we believe every person, every company, every organism is either growing or dying, and maintenance is an absolute myth. And this is a sobering reality for many of us. And let me explain. The market is continuously growing, and I will use today's conversation for the easy one, where I consistently have people going to their P&L to make decisions in regards to their growth, hiring, adding to their team, whether it be in marketing, a receptionist, intake, sales, client service coordinator, a paraprofessional, legal assistant, admin assistant, paralegal, legal nurse consultant, whatever it might be, associate attorneys, and then lastly, a COO or a professional law firm administrator, CEO, office manager, operations manager, whatever term correlates with your organizational chart. Here is what I hear over and over and over again, especially with our Smart Hire solution. When people call us and say they want to hire someone, they're at a point where they are ready to hire. Either they say, I'll do whatever it takes. I actually have people sign in my contracts that they will pay whatever the market's bearing. That's why I do flat fee retained search. I don't do commission-based recruiting because I want to work hard for the law firm owner, for the business owner. Or they'll come to me and say how crazy desperate they are, and then either see my fees or hear what the market's bearing, especially in this insane market to place any of these positions, whether you're in, backwoods, Arkansas, or you're in the thick of downtown San Francisco. It really does not matter. And I know salary.com and your fractional CEOs and CFOs tell you different, and your friends at the bar association or your colleagues down the street tell you they got somebody for pennies on the dollar. It does not matter sitting here in 2022 right now, even what they paid for someone 6 weeks ago. The market is just absolutely insane. And what happens so often when we find a candidate that we love, their proof of concept and their resume and their references and their skill set, passing all the assessments we give them, yada, yada, yada. And the next step is that the attorney or the business owner will go to their CFO. They'll go to their bookkeeper. They'll go to their QuickBooks. They'll go to their P&L to make this decision. And decisions absolutely determine our destiny. And they'll come back and say, I can't afford it, or run all these various different fact patterns in regards to return on investment, and then come back and say, well, I need this person to do that. And I ran the rates at their hourly rate and billable hours and all this other business stuff that does have a certain place. But I'm going to put a giant disclaimer on this right now. In this market, it doesn't. You have to think differently. The pricing of what it's going to cost for you to up-level your business, to elevate and to grow is a commodity problem. What do I mean by that? It means that what does it take to grow? And quite simply, it's three simple things: get more customers, increase your average purchase price, get more clients to buy more from you, create repeat customers and lifetime clients, period. That's it. So when it comes to hiring someone, and I am going to use four different fact patterns here. I'm going to start off with marketing, then we're going to talk about sales, and we're going to talk about production, your paraprofessional team. We're going to talk about associates and replacing yourself. And then lastly, managers slash leaders slash C-suite. COOs, operation managers, professional law firm administrators, whatever term resonates with you. The part that your P&L does not tell you, the part that your CFO is not correlating in there, is what happens with your time when it's replaced or whoever is up leveling. So if you're taking a receptionist and moving her into him or her into a salesperson, okay, great. Where's the correlation there? What happens for it with your time as well? And that is an area that is never factored in when it comes time for this. So I love about hiring, what I love about writing a check as a business owner that we quote unquote cannot afford at this time, is that there's a tremendous amount of accountability that goes on us because of the time that's freed up, because everybody is rising above, everybody is elevating. So it's not just about hiring this associate for $150,000 of I can't afford them or I can't afford that, but meaning, what are you doing with your time now that you are freed up, and your energy and your frustration because you have a junior attorney or people that you can afford, and then you are having to train them. It's constantly up level to you. It's delegated back up to you. The stuff that's being delegated back up to you. You have to look at energy. The only resources that most business owners measure is time and money, but you have to look at your frustration. You have to look at where you're repeating yourself over and over again. You have to look where things are getting delegated back up to you, where you're losing sleep at night because you are consistently frustrated, or you feel like you're repeating yourself and nobody is hearing you or taking the burden off you. Nobody has your back. So I want you to hear this first and foremost. For my clients that go through our Smart Hire process and or through our 66-day law firm turnaround, where we do serve as a fractional CEO and CMO, when you have a rock star candidate, and let's just use the example, let's just say is a intake coordinator, a receptionist, i.e. your sales force. So the average price right now is around $55,000 a year. I tell people, you don't look at the annual. Look at what you're paying them weekly and monthly. Let's take this in a 90-day chunk. So for example, if you're investing in a client service coordinator, a receptionist is an old school term for that, or an intake coordinator, that's your director of first impressions. That is the person that your caller, your PNC, your prospect makes the very first decision within minutes if they're going to work with you. So if it's a $55,000 salary, and I'm a big proponent of incentive-based compensation plans and bonus structures as well, but if that's the base salary, which it is, you can't interact with it in regards to, I used to pay previous person 35 or what have you. It is what it is right now. And you pay what you get for. So you can't look at the fee. You have to look at the cost. If you do not hire this person, what is not occurring? So if you take that $55,000 and break it into, let's just say, let's even round it up with payroll taxes, because this is where you're all going. I know that. Let's even for the heck of it, say $65,000. I don't even care. Round it up even more. That's $1,250 a week. And when you look at it that way, let's just take that fact pattern. It's $1,250 a week. And I threw an extra 10 grand on there for having a rock star client service coordinator that, again, has key performance indicators. Right off the bat, you will be getting that return on investment for their monthly pay within 1 week of their being there. Here's how. You have if you're doing, and I'm going to use a very simple fact pattern here, flat fee billing. Maybe your average fee is $5,000, let's just say. Okay, great. So you have somebody who is coming in there and you have a rockstar client service coordinator that's following your scripts, using your CRM, able to engage people and enroll them. Well, right then and there, $5,000 if they can engage one person. Well, they're not responsible for engaging people because that happens in the conference room with our non-attorney salesperson or a paralegal or our associate or me as a business owner. Don't go there. You have to remember, and if you don't know this, this is something new for you. Your client service coordinator makes or breaks everything. So go the calendar, so go cash flow. Think about it. If the person answering the phone, and I don't even like the word receptionist, I really highly recommend that you stop looking at that position as a receptionist. And if you are outsourcing that position, make certain that you have your arms around the key performance indicators and you are tracking and measuring every single phone call, every conversion. Here's how, with this example of paying for this person for this role, they're not only just quote unquote answering the phone, making people feel acknowledged, heard, understood, over communicating with them that they're in the right place, that they actually have a script where they're not making people repeat their name and their phone number and their address 4,000 times and spelling it out like a robot, where they sound like they're in an answering call center. But they're actually enrolling people right then and there within the first 2 to 3 minutes. Great. They get the consultation booked or they get it over to the intake coordinator. Now they're also managing your calendar every single week. So they're looking at the leads from last week. They're looking at the consultations from last week. They're looking at the conversions for that. They're actually starting to track and measure the cancellations and reschedule. I do this with all client services intake, non-attorney sales people that we hire in conjunction with the marketing team. Every single week, we look at all the reporting. We track the cancellations and reschedules. Heck, if I just even focus on that one measurement, your return on investment is insane. Week 1, cancellations and reschedules around 23%. People respect what you inspect. So now we start measuring it and we say, okay, Susie, let's work with you a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about what people are saying and doing when they're canceling and rescheduling. We empower them. We give them enrolling language. We support them with it. They know we're tracking it every single Monday. Week 2, cancellations and reschedules go from 23% to 17.5%. My number that I work with the law firm is 10% is ideal, no higher than 13%. So we're looking at that. We already got it down from 23 to 17.5 in 1 week of their employment. Do the math in regards to what it saved you. Not only that, but you're so delighted. Oh my goodness, it's the best position I ever hired. Just the fact that we have this measurement and we are going to have it consistently and persistently every single solitary week. So knowing that and looking at cancellations, reschedules, not only that, another key performance indicator, and we're going to work with them. So my goal is always by the end of their 30 days of being there, 30 days. So take their weekly pay times the month. It's around $5,000 for the month with a huge including payroll tax and everything else that you want to factor into that. You've already made your return on investment if your average fee is $5,000 within week one of them being there. Not only that, but they're also tracking what's happening in the conference room or the Zoom room, however you handle your initial consultations. So we're starting to look at it. And yes, this is your receptionist doing all this tracking and measurement when hired right, when trained right, when they get time, attention, feedback, and the coaching that they need. So now they're also looking at the conversion rates in the conference room per attorney, per intake person, per non-attorney sales position. Then they also have within their key performance indicators in their weekly job description, if you will, where they're doing follow-up for the people that either walked out with signing an engagement agreement, walked out with saying, I needed to think about it, made a phone call, and they never even made it to the conference room, but they're just scheduling. They say, oh, okay, let me check with so-and-so. I'll get back to you. The average law firm that has it, so often when I speak with law firms, I'm like, all right, what's your conversion rate? Oh gosh, it's near 100%. Everyone that comes in and meets with us hires us. Well, great. What about the people that call in to your receptionist and that you don't even know about, that never even made it to initial consultation, that never made it to the conference room to sit down and meet with the rock star closer? What about that percentage of people? I was in Clio Grow with a firm, and when we were looking at what was outstanding, and once we brought in this client service coordinator, it was over $179,000 sitting in PNCs that never booked an initial consultation. I've done numerous podcasts on dialing for dollars, dialing for appointments, what have you. Go back and listen to them. I'm not going to go into it and here today, but you can see very quickly the return on investment for just this position. I hear it over and over and over and over again, especially with associate attorneys, paralegals, paraprofessional, what have you. I'll have attorneys that will send me, we find a rock star candidate. They meet every single requirement above and beyond. And then they go back to their CFO or their bookkeeper, what have you, and start running numbers and how they can build them out much higher than X, Y, and Z, and all these different fact patterns. Like, stop. That's one measuring stick. That's one measuring stick. But what about for you as a managing attorney, about replacing yourself, about cloning yourself? It's not just about the billable hour. It's not just about their life cycle of the file. It's also about what they can do for you to free you up to manage and lead your junior associates. The amount of time that you're spending when you review their work and you're not seeing consistent mistakes, even though you've trained them over and over and over again. Because they are freed up, you have full faith and confidence in your bones in this person. They're worth every single solitary penny that you're paying them because of the mental space, the emotional space, the frustration space that is cleared up for you. I mean, my goodness, take $150,000 a year. Again, I always say, don't go by the annual, go by the monthly, go by the weekly. That's it. Because then that really allows for you to keep going in regards to increasing your average purchase price, your purchase value. It goes for a place of view of how can we get more customers, and how will it free you up to work with the marketing department to go ahead and start creating offers for people maybe that came in and they just bought a will from you, but that was 5 years ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. Now we can start doing some campaigns, videos, what have you, to remind them to come in and get their plan and get into our VIP maintenance program, our family legacy program, what have you. Somebody may have came in for a divorce, and it may have been a very simple divorce back then, but now it's coming to the place where they have child custody issues and they have all different things that it's time for them to come back in, or they know a friend or a family that they just had this conversation over happy hour yesterday and they're forwarding your video to. When you're visible and you have the white space and you have the mental clarity to start to think and act and behave like an entrepreneur, that's the pieces that you have to put a price on. I always play this game and I teach this to my clients that I work with as well. When you hire someone, the clock is ticking for you, for everybody else in the firm. Don't just focus on the new hire, the accountability that is there for you as an entrepreneur. And I tell everyone I hire, I want you to hire someone, this person that you're hiring right now. I want you to believe that their life, that they're only going to be there for a year. So you no longer tell yourself this garbage that it takes 6 months to onboard someone. You no longer feel like you have all this time to get them quote unquote up to speed. Or they'll say to me, well, they're not quote unquote ready yet to take on blah, blah, blah. If you are saying that it's going to take X amount of time to get someone up to speed, if you're saying that somebody that you're investing in is not ready, then you have a hiring problem. You have a training problem and you have an onboarding problem, whether you get someone for 50 grand a year or 150 grand a year. And again, I really encourage you to stop looking at the annual, start looking at the weekly and the monthly, because it has so much accountability and urgency attached to it. So if I'm only going to have this associate attorney or this paralegal or this intake person or this COO or this marketing person for 80 grand a year, what do I need to get out of them? What are the top 5 things I absolutely positively need to get out of this investment? And I don't like saying get out of them, but what would it take if they left us 1 year from now that we are better off than when they came in? We absolutely have a 5, if not 10x return on them being employed with us in money, in systems, in process, in production, in culture, in all the in client experience and referral source experience. And then what are you doing to 5x that by being freed up by having a rock star person in there? What are the people that are training them? What are they doing to make certain that they are 10xing, 5xing it? You can't just keep looking at your P&L. It's absolutely positively killing your growth. If that's a place that you keep going to make decisions. Again, decisions determine your destiny. There has to be a healthy level of fear. Tony Robbins always says fear is a beautiful motivator. There has to be a little bit of something that makes you want to throw up when you think about writing a check for that. Otherwise, you're playing it safe and you are not on a path of growth. I tell people all this time, they don't even think twice about, being at a Grant Cardone event or wherever it might be, where they're saying, if you want to be a billionaire, you want to be a millionaire, you need to start acting and behaving like right now. So no longer can you fly economy. You have to start flying first class. I want you to go out and get your dream car like you have it. If people were to walk around and audit your travel arrangements, audit your home, and watch what you're doing with your precious time, if you're cleaning the toilet and on a weekend versus you spending that time for true rest and rejuvenation, for travel, for acting like you are Grant Cardone, then you need to start behaving it. But when it comes time to hiring people, it blows my mind. Because now we're like, I can't afford it. Wait, you just hired a coach for 30 grand in the drop of a hat that you are going to meet with for 1 hour. Actually, I have one client who's paying their coach 10 grand a month for one 30-minute call a month. 10 grand a month for one 30-minute call a month. Okay, so now you're telling me, and this client will, when it comes to writing a check for 150 grand for the associate, it's like done. Absolutely, because I'm already cleared what I'm doing to up level. I'm clear on what they're doing and every other person that surrounds them and involved in them. I mean, the monthly salary for the associate is what they're paying for the coach for a 30-minute call each month. So where are your priorities? You have to invest in your people. You're in the personal and professional service industry. Yes, there will be KPIs attached to their process, their production, what they're responsible for, et cetera. But it also has to go on you as a leader, as a business owner as well, which I like. I think it's kind of cool. I play the same game with myself. I do it with every law firm that I serve as a fractional CEO or CMO for. I do it with every single person that comes in through our smart hire process. Before they even hire, we hop on a strategy call. And I'm like, just assume you're going to be paying 150 grand for this position. My goal is to find you someone for 75, 95, 100, what have you, but you already need to be in the mental space and thinking differently. I want you now to tell me what you're going to be doing with your time, your energy, your creativity for you to be a true entrepreneur. So you can start to really spend your time to grow the business. You should be up leveling. You should be in a place where you are absolutely, because we don't want to be in this mindset that most entrepreneurs face. Not enough clients, not enough cash, blah, 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 not enough money. Don't go from that place. You're going to go from a place where you're going to get a little discomfort, where it's going to make you have a little bit of a belly ache about it. And you're going to go from a place of growth, because going to your P&L, going to your CFO, going to your bookkeeper first and foremost, or your QuickBooks or what have you, to make your decision will absolutely kill your growth when it comes time to marketing, sales, and your people, regardless of what position you're placing. Every single person, right down to the receptionist, including if you're outsourcing it and you're using an agency, even more so, they should have a KPI on it. They should absolutely have the 5 key conversions that you need to be looking at every single week in that role. And if they can't communicate it and they can't furnish it way beyond a call rail report, then that you need to look at bringing that position in-house and paying for it. So look at your mindset. You need to start looking differently when it comes time to hiring and investing in people, investing in your outsourced marketing, whether you're bringing in a marketing coordinator, when it comes time for bringing a non-attorney salesperson in there. And if you need any help, get on my calendar. Let's walk through the KPIs. Be happy to give you all the metrics that I have for every single one of these positions: marketing, in-house or outsource, your receptionist, client service coordinator, intake coordinator, whatever position you communicate in your firm, your paraprofessional team, legal assistant, law clerks, paralegals, associate attorney. Don't care if they're senior or junior, because right now we're finding the juniors are requesting and asking for and deserving, in all honesty, if they, again, have the right mindset, emotional intelligence, leadership, et cetera, the salaries that senior attorneys used to demand. And lastly, when you are on that path of growth and really ready to up level your C-suite, your CEO, your COO, your PLA, office manager, operations manager, and then what are you doing with your time knowing the clock is ticking against you? And you have 1 year to maximize this investment. All right, let me know how you do. No suffering in silence. Reach out, get on my calendar. And if you are struggling with, and you're feeling the fear, about hiring another person and adding them to your overhead, if you're feeling the fear about hiring a marketing agency for whatever it is that you need to get more clients, qualified clients, get on my calendar. Let's work it through. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for continuing to be a leader leading leaders. We've reached the end of yet another episode of the Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast, where dream teams of entrepreneurs in an entrepreneur's world really do come true. Listen, whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, we fully understand hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, often overwhelming, and absolutely time-consuming for the already taxed professional. Well, we have your back on all fronts. For 25 years and counting, we have transformed over 4,000 law firm teams into the most efficient, resourceful, and profitable asset of your business. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.